I mean, even though Baltimore won 28-13, it didn't feel like it was a 15-point game. And I really felt.
Well, I remember sitting there with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and New England started what looked to be a drive, and I was like, well, it's not over. If they get a score here, it's a one-possession game. It's really not that far.
With a lot of time. And you know what? That's when they had the tip ball and it got intercepted. And I thought exactly the same thing, though. He's driving. I think they had the ball on, like, Baltimore's, like, 45, right around
somewhere
midfield.
Around there, yeah.
And the way that ball got tipped, it went all the way towards, like, the 30. But the middle linebacker makes a play.
I saw that.
And that's when you sat there and you're like, this might be it. This might be the end of another run. Now, I'm seeing things on Twitter of actual New England fans already saying that maybe Belichick is done in New England.
No.
Is that far-fetched?
That's beyond far-fetched.
I think it's entirely far-fetched. I mean, you look at that team. Yeah, all right, Brady is... I mean, how old is he now? He's like 33.
Yeah, but he also hasn't won a Super Bowl in a long time either.
Hasn't won a Super Bowl. Here's the one thing I will say. I mean, you look at that defense. They got a lot of young guys, a lot of guys who did wind up making some mistakes yesterday. But you look, Talib and Patrick Chung got hurt in the first half.
The Talib injury
that was huge.
Big.
That was huge.
That was a big injury.
But you look at a lot of the younger guys, the Kyle Arringtons, the Brandon Merriweathers, Gerard Mayo, Ninkovich, that guy. This is just an entire defense that he's basically accumulated over the last 2 or 3 draft class. You got to wonder what these guys are going to be like in a couple of years. I think
he's putting together a good young defense.
A really good defense, yeah.
The simple fact of the matter is, no matter what this team does lately, it seems that they get to a moment where they need to step up the most, and they keep falling short. And it constantly seems to be against teams that have a reliable defense. I had this argument with my friend yesterday. And I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or disagree with me on this, but I still to this day believe that defense wins championships. Offense gets you there, but I still believe the defense wins you championships.
Because you always got to stop somebody. Mm-hmm. You can't just go score for score and expect to win a game. You've got to be able to stop somebody.
And as much as those Patriot championship teams are known for their offense, they were able to stop the teams when they had to.
Yeah,
they had a good defense back then. They did.
And Eric, I just saw this on Twitter, and I think this is something you'll really like. The starting Super Bowl quarterbacks played their college ball at Nevada and Delaware. I mean, you know, and the guy ends it with saying, "Remember that on signing day." You know, like just because you're going to that big name school doesn't really mean too much for you. That's pretty damn awesome to think about. And then Fife throws in our chat room the fact that Patriots fans probably didn't make the smartest decision by putting up the billboard of, hey, your retirement party starts very, that was pretty, I mean, look, a guy like Ray Lewis doesn't need any extra motivation to get on a football field. Just doesn't.
And once again, 3rd week in a row, Ray Lewis leads all defensive players in tackles. 6 solos, 8 assists. 3rd week in a row, man.
Yeah.
And this was a game where they thought he was going to struggle because I was very surprised that New England wasn't able to get him in coverage more.
Listen,
that surprised me.
The man plays football. He's done it for 17 years. Whether or not he's older now, yeah, but the older guys are a little savvier. They know a little more. Listen, Ray Lewis knows every angle to take. He's going to take the shortest route to hit you. Yep. Trust me. It doesn't matter if he's a step slower than you are. If he's got the angle, he's got the angle. And the thing is Ray Lewis doesn't miss a lot of tackles.
No.
If he's got the opportunity, if he can get an arm on you or a hand on you, he's probably going to bring you down.
Sort of like another middle linebacker that's in the Super Bowl this year.
And there's an
dude, I can. It's going to be fun to sort of break down the Super Bowl randomly throughout the next 2 weeks.
You literally have the old guard on defense versus the young kids. The young kids. You got the Ravens and the Niners.
And I'm
that part's going to be
so
amazing.
hard for Baltimore.
So am I. Yes. I think it's going to wind up being Flacco's year. I really do. And Ray Lewis deserves it. Even though
be more.
This guy has picked the Niners the whole way, so I don't really see you changing that.
He has to go. He has to stick with San Fran. You didn't even say that. Did you say that yet?
Yeah.
That you called it?
Yeah,
no, you got to say it on air though. You didn't actually say it on air.
I don't think you said it since we came on.
I posted it on the fan page. I actually posted it on my own page as well. Before the season started, we did our NFL playoff predictions. I called a San Fran, Baltimore Super Bowl. I called the Harbaugh Bowl back before the season started, and my pick to win it was San Fran. I am sticking with that pick. I think Ray Lewis gets to the Super Bowl. It's a great story, but I think he doesn't get it. Yeah, I saw it.
We're looking at a picture right now, ladies and gentlemen, of...
It's up in the chat.
Let's see if we can put it on the camera.
No, it's up in the chat.
Oh, okay.
It's up. People
All
can
right,
see
cool.
it. But, yeah, I got to stick with my original pick of San Fran, so I'm going to go with it. I think they could actually win this game, and I think it's a fitting end for Ray Lewis. He makes another Super Bowl, doesn't win it, but...
I want to say real quick, and I'm sorry to cut you off. Going back to the Patriots real quick, I think one thing this opens up to, do we think Wes Welker is coming back after the 2-drop game yesterday?
Listen, I honestly don't think it matters because the way their offense runs, the way their team runs, is everybody's replaceable.
Hey, listen, it is a system
And
with
we'll
them.
just keep moving with the next guy in line.
I think the one thing that you notice with this New England team is that all these guys are replaceable when they have time to get ready for it. Like, Talib going down yesterday, they weren't able to really adjust their defense the rest of the game. You go back to last year, you lose Gronkowski. Gronkowski gets hurt in the AFC Championship game, far from 100% in the Super Bowl, and they can't. I think if they have time to, like you, Eric asked me on Friday when we were previewing the game, how much does the Gronkowski injury affect them? And I said to him, I really don't think nothing at all because they're so used to him not being there. When they have to make adjustments on the fly of next man up, that's when they seem to struggle. When they can have time to prepare and Belichick can just lay out a new game plan, they're fine. So I think that was their biggest. Like you look at yesterday, I think that's one of their biggest issues. You see them lose a guy in a game and they struggle adjusting on because that guy had a job that week. He spent all week getting ready for his job, and now somebody else has to step in and do his job, and that somebody else didn't prepare for that job. And you can see they just don't execute as well. And I really agree. I think that Talib injury really was a huge factor in what happened in that second half. I mean, 21-0 in the second half. First time in 67 or 68 games that Brady and New England lost the game where they had a lead at halftime. 67 straight games at home where they went in with a lead at halftime and won the game.
Well, I mean, they said it all season. Talib was basically the guy who helped solidify that defense. They were getting torn up every week before he came there. So, I mean, you look at the way Flacco has been using the long ball. The second he goes down, it changes the whole game.
What a game, man.